Before we begin, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you do not miss any of our jaw-dropping Bible stories filled with revelation, humor, and life-changing lessons. Now, let us dive into the mysterious and bold story of Tamar, a woman who broke all odds and rewrote her own destiny through boldness, strategy, and a divine twist you did not see coming. In a land of dusty roads, camel caravans, and family drama thick enough to slice with a dull knife, there lived a man named Judah, one of the 12 sons of Jacob. Yes, that Judah, the one whose name would later be tied to kings and kingdoms and even the Messiah himself. But back then, Judah was just another son in a large and complicated family with secrets layered like an onion. After the whole drama with Joseph being sold off to Egypt, spoiler alert, Judah played a role in that, he decided to distance himself for a bit. Maybe guilt, maybe restlessness, maybe just tired of the family group chat. Whatever it was, he moved away and settled in a place called Adullam, where he met a friend named Hira and also fell for a Canaanite woman, the daughter of a man named Shua. He married her, and they had 3 sons, Onan, and Shelah. When grew up, Judah found a wife for him. Her name was Tamar, and here is where the real story begins. Now Tamar was beautiful, obedient, and willing, but the Bible tells us, was wicked in the sight of the Lord. Wicked how? We do not know exactly. Maybe he was abusive, maybe he cheated, maybe he kicked puppies. Whatever the case, God struck him dead. Yes, just like that. Poof! Gone. Which put Tamar in a terribly awkward situation, widowed, childless, and stuck in a culture where legacy and offspring were everything. Enter Onan, the second son. According to the custom of levirate marriage, Onan was supposed to marry his brother's widow and raise children that would carry Er's name. It was not romantic, but it was duty, and Onan agreed, or at least pretended to. But Onan had a problem. He wanted the pleasure, but not the responsibility. So every time he was with Tamar, he, let the seed fall to the ground, repeatedly, purposely. You get the point. God saw what Onan was doing, and he was not amused. And once again, boom, Onan was struck dead too. 2 brothers gone. Tamar remained childless. And Judah? Well, he was starting to look at Tamar like she was the problem. After all, 2 of his sons had died after marrying her. Coincidence? Maybe. Suspicious? Definitely. So Judah told Tamar, "Go back to your father's house, live as a widow, and when my youngest son Shelah grows up, I will give him to you." But Judah had no intention of doing so. He was afraid Shelah might die too. Tamar had now become the family's unspoken bad omen. Time passed. Tamar waited, and waited, and waited. Years went by, and Shelah was now a grown man. But Judah did not come knocking. He had conveniently forgotten his promise, or perhaps he had just hoped Tamar would move on, but she had not. Tamar was still waiting, still grieving, and now feeling betrayed. Then she heard that Judah was on his way to Timnah to shear his sheep. That was a big event, kind of like a harvest festival. Sheep shearing time meant music, food, and a relaxed mood. It was a moment to make bold moves, and Tamar had a plan. Let us pause and recognize this moment. Most women would have just given up, cried in secret, or married someone else quietly, but not Tamar. She realized that if justice was not going to come to her, she would have to create it herself. So she changed out of her widow's clothes, put on a veil to hide her face, and went to sit by the road near the entrance to Enaim. She knew Judah would pass that way, And what she did next was, well, unexpected. Judah saw her sitting by the road, dressed in a way that gave a certain impression, and he assumed she was a prostitute, not recognizing her as his daughter-in-law, because of the veil, of course. He approached her and asked to sleep with her. Yes, the same Judah who would later father the royal tribe of Israel was about to get tricked by his own daughter-in-law. Oh, the irony! Tamar, staying in character, asked what he would give her in return. Judah, not exactly carrying his wallet while sheep shearing, offered her a young goat from his flock. But Tamar, being wise, asked for collateral. Smart woman. She said, "Leave me your seal, your cord, and your staff." Essentially his ID, signature, and personal walking stick. That was like asking for a man's driver's license, passport, and phone. And Judah agreed. They slept together, and Tamar conceived. Mission accomplished. Afterwards, she went home, took off the veil, and put her widow's clothes back on like nothing had happened. Judah later sent his friend Hira with the goat to retrieve his things, but there was no prostitute at the place. The locals were like, "No idea what you're talking about." Judah was embarrassed and told Hira to forget about it. He did not want to make a public scene. Meanwhile, Tamar stayed quiet, pregnant, and patient. 3 months later, word reached Judah that his daughter-in-law was pregnant, and not by Shelah. The scandal! Judah, furious and self-righteous, declared that she should be burned for immorality. Yes, burned. That is how quick people are to judge others, even while hiding their own skeletons. But Tamar, ever composed, simply sent word to Judah along with the seal, cord, and staff, saying, "The man who made me pregnant is the owner of these." Boom! Mic drop. Everyone's jaw hit the floor. Judah instantly recognized them. His face must have turned paler than a desert cloud. He said, "She is more righteous than I, since I would not give her to my son Shelah." And just like that, Tamar was no longer seen as cursed, but as courageous. She gave birth to twins, Perez and Zerah, and through Perez, the line of David and eventually Jesus Christ himself would come. Now, pause here and soak that in. Judah, the same man who once sold his brother Joseph and ran away from his family, finally admits fault. Tamar, who had no power, no voice, and no protection, had held on to hope, and when necessary, had acted with courage and cunning. God had not forgotten her, and now justice was not only served, it was honored. The story does not end there. Tamar gave birth to twins, Perez and Zerah, and this birth was not just the continuation of a family line, but the beginning of a royal legacy. During delivery, Zerah's hand came out first, and the midwife tied a scarlet thread around it to mark the firstborn. But then, unexpectedly, Perez pushed his way out first. "What a breach you have made for yourself!" the midwife exclaimed, and that is how Perez got his name, meaning breaking forth. That right there is prophetic. Why? Because Perez would go on to become the ancestor of King David, and from David, generations later, would come Jesus Christ, the Messiah. Yes, God used Tamar's brave defiance, her wisdom, and her resilience to shape the lineage of redemption itself. Imagine that, from scandal to salvation, from disgrace to divine purpose. The lesson here? God does not write people off the way society does. He uses the unexpected, the broken, the misjudged, the silenced, and the shamed to fulfill holy plans. Tamar's story reminds us that righteousness is not always wrapped in neat packages, and that sometimes bold faith looks like risking everything to demand justice. Tamar teaches us that God is not afraid of mess. He enters it, redeems it, and transforms it into majesty. So, the next time someone tells you your story is too messy to matter, remember Tamar. She did not wait for others to rescue her. She moved in wisdom, stood her ground, and allowed God to redeem her situation in a way that echoed through generations. Now, if that moved you, inspired you, or even made you gasp a little, then this channel is for you. Subscribe, like, and share this story with someone who needs to know that their past does not disqualify them from God's purpose. And stay tuned, because we are just getting started with these wild and wonderful stories of grace, grit, and God's glory